Before any colony claimed this earth, it was a brutal, unforgiving kingdom ruled only by survival's ancient law. This land stretched wild and infinite, a continent of ancient forests older than any European memory could reach. Water meant life itself, and only those who understood its deadly rhythm survived while others simply perished frozen. Every survival skill was earned through years of painful failure, every tool crafted from the very bones of death. Women held ancient knowledge of earth and seed, transforming brutal wilderness into sustenance through endless backbreaking daily labor. The hunt demanded absolute deadly focus, where one single mistake meant watching your entire family starve through winter's rage. Elders carried thousands of years of hard-won wisdom in their voices, speaking brutal truths no written word captured. Even childhood was survival training, every game was preparation, and play taught lessons that determined life or death later. Villages were desperate fortresses against wilderness, where every soul contributed hard labor or faced exile into unforgiving forest darkness. Every arrow took hours to perfect by hand, and each one carried the difference between eating or starving slowly. Healers knew plants held power to cure or kill instantly, wisdom gained through generations of careful, dangerous experimentation. Scouts watched horizons for days without rest, first warning against threats that could destroy everything their people built. Scars were stories written permanently in flesh, each mark proving survival against brutal forces that destroyed weaker men completely. Communities survived only through shared brutal labor, where every hand built shelter protecting all from winter's merciless killing cold. Trees older than empires stood as silent witnesses, their roots drinking from soil that remembered civilizations long vanished. Fire was life's absolute center, and those who couldn't spark flame from wood would freeze dead before dawn arrived. Success meant survival another day, and every fish pulled from cold water was hard victory against starvation's constant shadow. Ceremony connected earth to sky above, binding community through shared ritual, giving meaning beyond mere survival's endless grind. Sacred smoke carried prayers upward to ancestors, ancient voices speaking through ritual older than any nation that followed later. New life was both blessing and heavy burden, another mouth demanding food where none existed without relentless backbreaking work. The wind began to whisper strange secrets to those who listened, carrying warnings from distant shores unknown. The sky grew dark with anger, clouds twisted in patterns the elders had never witnessed in lifetimes. Medicine women read signs in storm patterns, seeing visions of great white wings descending from endless water. Warriors watched the great water with new suspicion, sensing something moved beyond the fog's protective veil daily. Storms raged with fury never seen before, as if the very heavens themselves were crying out warnings. Ancient stone spoke through trembling hands, revealing prophecies carved by ancestors who had seen this doom coming. Elders called to the spirits above, begging for clarity about the darkness they felt approaching from waters. Entire villages walked into forests seeking guidance from trees that had witnessed ages, hoping for ancestral answers. Warriors painted themselves for battles they couldn't name, preparing for enemies their eyes had never yet seen. Shamans danced until their bodies collapsed, seeking visions in smoke that showed the shape of coming destruction clearly. Ravens fled ancestral forests in massive numbers, abandoning sacred groves as if death itself was spreading beneath trees. Bone readers cast their tools in desperate patterns, watching them fall into shapes that spoke only of endings. Children sensed their parents' fear without understanding it, confusion replacing the innocent laughter that once filled villages completely. The great water raged as if trying to warn those on shore of what came sailing across. In visions, shamans saw great white birds with wings of cloth carrying pale ghosts across endless blue. Warriors danced with new fury, preparing spirits for warfare against enemies they could only imagine in nightmares. Council fires burned through countless nights as leaders debated meanings of signs none had wisdom to interpret. Every warrior was blessed with protection rituals, though shamans privately doubted whether ancestral spirits understood the coming threat. Runners arrived from coastal tribes carrying news that turned blood cold, speaking of impossible sights upon waters. Some elders knew with certainty that the world they had known for generations would soon end forever. This was not a simple village, but a continental trade empire where wealth from distant nations flowed like the river itself. Copper from northern lakes, shells from southern oceans, obsidian from western mountains, all converging in sophisticated markets with standardized currency systems. Trade caravans traveled thousands of miles on engineered roads, connecting settlements into a vast commercial network spanning the entire continent. Warehouses stored continental wealth with accounting systems tracking inventory, guards protecting assets. This was organized commerce, not primitive barter or exchange. Master engineers built sophisticated river ports allowing massive cargo vessels to load regardless of water level, facilitating commerce on unprecedented scale. Diplomatic councils met regularly, representatives from distant nations negotiating treaties and alliances through sophisticated sign language understood across tribal boundaries completely. Artisan quarters produced goods specifically for continental trade, master craftsmen creating wealth through specialized skills passed down through generations of expertise. Messenger relay systems moved information faster than walking, fresh runners at intervals carrying documents across engineered roads connecting the entire civilization. Priest astronomers tracked celestial movements with precision, recording observations on complex calendars, applying astronomical knowledge to agriculture and ceremonial scheduling throughout society. Massive public feasts demonstrated economic surplus, thousands fed with abundance, celebrating successful trade seasons, displaying civilization's wealth and sophisticated social organization. Temple mounds rose like mountains built by human hands, astronomical observatories aligned to celestial events, demonstrating advanced mathematical and engineering knowledge. The Great Temple Summit served as observatory and sacred space, priests recording movements of sun, moon, and stars using sophisticated alignment systems. 20 mounds arranged in precise geometric patterns aligned to cardinal directions and astronomical events, urban planning applying sacred geometry and mathematical precision. Elite burials demonstrated social stratification, nobles interred with massive wealth in copper, shells, and ceremonial objects, showing complex hierarchical civilization structure. Religious knowledge was systematically preserved through institutionalized training, apprentice priests learning astronomy, ritual, and sacred knowledge in organized schools and temples. Elite families occupied mound summits in superior housing, middle class lived near bases, commoners in outer districts, architecture reflecting strict social hierarchy. Agricultural ceremonies connected farming to religious calendar. Priests distributed blessed seeds, applied astronomical knowledge to planting, ensuring surplus supporting ceremonial population continuously. Massive earthwork fortifications with engineered bastions and defensive ditches protected accumulated wealth, organized military defending centralized authority and religious political center effectively. Specialized workshops produced sacred objects under priestly supervision, ceremonial copper plates, shell gorgets, feather cloaks, religion driving major economic production and artistic achievement. At sunset, thousands gathered in synchronized ceremony across Mound Complex, a civilization rivaling any in the world demonstrating knowledge, wealth, organization, power. In the desert where nothing should survive, engineers carved cities into cliffs and turned stone canyons into thriving urban centers. Multi-story buildings constructed from precisely cut stone, hundreds of rooms housing thousands, cliff-dwelling architecture rivaling any contemporary European construction completely. Sophisticated irrigation systems channeling every precious drop, stone-lined canals with gates distributing water, engineering turning arid desert into productive agricultural landscape miraculously. Terraced fields, check dams capturing rainfall, dry farming techniques developed over generations, agricultural science adapted perfectly to one of Earth's harshest environments. Underground ceremonial chambers with perfect circular construction, acoustic design amplifying sound, spiritual architecture demonstrating advanced geometry and engineering serving religious purposes constantly. Pottery industry producing distinctive black-on-white ceramics with intricate geometric designs, specialized artisans creating both functional vessels and valuable trade goods daily. Cliff dwellings chosen for defense, accessible only by removable ladders and carved trails, strategic positions with early warning systems protecting accumulated wealth. Domesticated turkeys providing meat, eggs, and ceremonial feathers, sophisticated animal husbandry supplementing agriculture, demonstrating advanced multifaceted food production systems effectively. Cotton textiles woven with complex patterns, feather blankets providing warmth, yucca fiber sandals, sophisticated textile industry producing clothing and valuable trade goods. Hundreds of cliff dwellings housing thousands of people, extensive agricultural systems, sophisticated engineering, entire civilization thriving in desert through knowledge and adaptation. On the ocean's edge, cedar masters built massive houses and carved monuments, creating wealthy maritime civilization without farming a single seed. Enormous plank houses built from single trees, post and beam construction using only wooden joinery, timber architecture demonstrating mastery of old-growth cedar. Industrial-scale salmon processing, thousands of fish smoked and preserved, creating surplus wealth feeding large populations, ocean resources managed with sophisticated seasonal knowledge. Master carvers transforming massive logs into ocean-going canoes using fire and stone tools, boat building technology refined over generations enabling maritime dominance. Specialized whaling canoes and equipment, spiritual preparation for dangerous ocean hunts, elite warriors pursuing massive prey requiring courage, skill, and knowledge. Massive totem poles carved with ancestral figures, monuments demonstrating wealth and cultural continuity, each pole representing generations of stories and status. Cedar bark processed into rainproof clothing, watertight baskets, rope, sophisticated technology extracting multiple products from single sustainable resource harvested carefully. Potlatch ceremonies distributing massive wealth, status earned through giving not keeping, economic system based on generosity and social obligation creating complex society. Organized warrior societies with specialized weapons and armor, defensive strategies protecting settlements and controlling territories, maritime culture including sophisticated military capabilities. Massive cedar houses, towering totem poles, ocean-going canoe fleets, wealthy complex civilization based entirely on forest and maritime resources thriving sustainably. They were not savage raiders but disciplined armies, professional warriors training in permanent facilities with industrial weapons production supporting organized military power. Synchronized formations, standardized armor, coordinated tactics, military discipline matching contemporary armies worldwide, demonstrating sophisticated understanding of organized warfare and strategic combat. Weapon workshops producing thousands of arrowheads daily, industrial-scale military supplies supporting standing armies. This was organized military economy, not occasional conflict preparation. Warrior societies living communally in permanent barracks, maintaining equipment constantly, training daily, professional military force, not part-time fighters gathering only during conflict. Sophisticated fortifications with projecting bastions, defensive ditches, elaborate gate complexes, military engineering demonstrating advanced understanding of siege warfare and defensive architecture principles. Elite special forces practicing advanced tactics, coordinated assault techniques, rapid deployment strategies, military sophistication beyond basic combat, requiring extensive training and coordination. Strategic command centers with territorial maps, unit positioning tokens, coordinated campaign planning, organized military leadership capable of complex operations across large territories. Warrior status earned through proven capability in formal ceremony, military meritocracy where ability and courage, not birth alone, determined warrior standing completely. Dedicated scout training developing intelligence gathering specialists, stealth movement, information retention, rapid communication,